Welcome back to Vuln Vibes. Today we're doing another deep dive, and this one's critical. We're looking at an actively exploited vulnerability in SAP S/4HANA. Okay, it's CVE 2025-42957. Now, for you, our audience, you're the pros, you know the landscape, the frameworks, the architecture, so we're not just going to skim the surface. Our mission today, to really analyze the bigger trends this specific exploit brings to light. Think of it as looking beyond just the CVE number.
Exactly. It's more than just another high CVSS score, although 9.9 certainly gets your attention. This specific flaw, it really tells a story about how attackers are evolving their techniques against these core, complex business systems.
Okay, let's get into the technical weeds a bit.
Yeah.
NIST describes it as allowing an attacker, even one with just user privileges,
Yeah.
to exploit a vulnerability in a function module that's exposed via RFC.
Right. Remote function call, a standard SAP communication channel.
But here's the real kicker, right? It allows the injection of arbitrary ABA code.
Yes. And, critically, bypassing essential authorization checks.
For anyone who works with SAP, injecting ABAP code, well, that just sounds fundamentally bad.
Yeah.
Especially bypassing authorization.
It absolutely is. You're hitting the nail on the head. We're not just talking OS commands here. This is the native language of SAP. So an attacker can directly mess with business logic, data, processes, everything.
And doing it via RFC, which is often seen as sort of an internal trusted path.
Precisely. That's the insidious part. It leverages that implicit trust within the SAP architecture. You have a low-privileged user, and suddenly they're injecting powerful code, bypassing the very controls meant to stop them. It's a direct hit on the system's internal integrity.
And Security Bridge Threat Research Labs, who first spotted this in the wild, they emphasize it only needs a low-privileged user. Minimal effort required was their phrase, I think, for full compromise. How does that change the risk calculation?
Well, it forces a shift, doesn't it, away from just worrying about the perimeter. That old idea that low privilege equals low risk. It's obsolete in these complex application environments.
Because attackers get that foothold and then escalate or pivot.
Exactly. They're very good at finding these application-level weaknesses. It's not always some exotic zero-day chain. Sometimes it's leveraging a known, maybe recently patched vulnerability like this one very efficiently. It shows attackers are really thinking inside the application now.
So let's talk impact. Full system compromise. SAP privileges.
Yeah.
That means an attacker could, rewrite financial reports, change inventory, mess with HR data.
All of the above, and potentially much worse. They essentially become the system administrator. Think about creating hidden superuser accounts, downloading password hashes, deploying ransomware designed to cripple ERP functions.
Wow.
The strategic cost goes way beyond just data theft. It attacks the authenticity of your business operations.
It's losing trust in your own system's data and processes.
Fundamentally. Imagine the potential for fraud, for industrial espionage, where data isn't just stolen but subtly altered. For organizations relying on SAP for, well, almost everything, finance, supply chain, manufacturing, it's a path to potential operational paralysis.
And Security Bridge confirmed this isn't just an on-prem problem, right? It hits private cloud editions too.
That's correct, both on-premise and private cloud.
Does that consistency tell us something important about securing these platforms?
It absolutely does. It underscores that while infrastructure changes moving to the cloud using hyperscalers, the application layer vulnerabilities often remain. The cloud provides different security tools, sure, a shared responsibility model, yes, but it doesn't automatically fix insecure code or flawed logic within the application.
So those fundamental AppSec principles, input validation, authorization, secure coding, they're still paramount.
Paramount. Regardless of the deployment model, you have to secure the application itself, its internal logic, its data flows.
Okay, so active exploitation is happening.
Yeah.
Security Bridge also warned that reverse engineering the patch to make an exploit is, quote, relatively easy.
That's a key point.
That suggests we could see this used much more widely very soon.
Very likely. And this trend, this rapid weaponization of patches, it puts enormous pressure on defenders.
That patch gap just keeps shrinking.
It really does. The window between SAP releasing the fix and attackers exploiting it is getting dangerously small. It means patching can't just be a routine task anymore. It has to be immediate, prioritized. It's a race.
And it shows attackers are actively monitoring vendor updates, using the patches themselves as a roadmap.
Yes, a blueprint for their exploits. It implies a certain level of sophistication and resourcefulness.
So what do defenders do? Patching A2P is obvious, but what else? SAP and Security Bridge mentioned monitoring logs.
Crucial. Look for suspicious RFC calls, unexpected new admin accounts. Basic hygiene, but critical for detection.
And segmentation, backups,
Hmm.
standard best practices.
Absolutely. Resilience and recovery are key. But they also got specific, didn't they? SAP Yukon and an authorization object, SDMIS activity 02.
Right. Can you unpack why those specific controls are recommended here?
Sure. So beyond patching, this points to that layered application-focused defense. SAP Yukon, Unified Connectivity, lets you lock down RFC communications. You can essentially create allow lists for RFC, restricting the very channel this exploit uses. It shrinks the attack surface right at the source.
Okay, makes sense. And the STMIS object.
Right, SDMIS activity 02. This authorization object controls some powerful data migration and system modification functions. Legitimate tools use it, but attackers love it post-exploitation to make major damaging changes.
Ah, so restricting access to it limits the potential damage even if they get in.
Exactly. It's about limiting the blast radius. These aren't generic firewall rules. They're deep application-level controls. It's about hardening the application from the inside out, controlling information flow and execution within SAP itself.
So wrapping this up, we've looked at CVE 2025-42957 in SAP S/4HANA. And while it's an SAP issue, the trends are much broader, aren't they?
Definitely.
We've seen how potent RFC-based injection can be, how dangerous low-privileged access still is, especially when it leads to full compromise, and how quickly patches are being turned into weapons by attackers. It really underscores the dynamic threats to our core enterprise systems.
It shows the fight has moved deep inside the application perimeter. It's about internal logic, internal trust models now.
Which leads to a final thought, maybe a question for you, our listeners, to take away.
Given how critical systems like SAP are and how relatively easily it seems these app-level flaws can lead to total compromise, are organizations really assessing risk beyond the network edge, beyond just host security?
Yeah.
Are we doing enough to enforce things like internal segmentation, detailed application logging, and true least privilege at the application level, especially considering these complex internal trust relationships within ERP systems?
Something important to think about as you continue your work securing these vital systems. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive on Vuln Vibes.